Welcome to our daily Forex market analysis, and this is for trading on February the 26th, 2020. Just a quick disclaimer here before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. All right, as usual, we'll start off by taking a look at our economic calendar here. The big thing here we saw today was the US dollar numbers here. They came in lower than what was expected, and as a result, we saw US dollar drop. So all the dollar crosses went up here. And coming up here, we have the core CPI numbers from Bank of Japan. So these are inflation numbers. Central banks watch these numbers closely. So if the numbers drop, that's not a good thing. So we could see Japanese yen drop further. Now, we have seen the previous data that came out for Japanese yen was negative, and as a result, we saw all the yen crosses went up as a result because of the data, and basically the market was expecting it to continue producing poor data. Now, if this comes in negative as well, or sorry, below expectations, then we could see Japanese yen go back up because the Japanese yen itself would, or we'll see yen crosses go back up because the Japanese yen would actually drop. So keep an eye on yen crosses as you trade today. Aside from that, another thing that's going on in the market is around the coronavirus, and seems like now we are seeing more cases that are spread out around the world, and the number of deaths around the world have increased as well, and we still don't have a cure. As a result of that, the equity markets are, or I should say overall investors are going off into this risk off mode. That means they are concerned about the impact or the global impact this issue could have. So as a result of that, we have seen the equity markets have dropped and yen crosses we've seen equity markets have dropped, and we have seen yen crosses have dropped as well because yen has been bullish. Now, if we hear more concerns or the concerns around coronavirus grow, that could push the markets down further. However, if for whatever reason there is a wave in the market that basically creates a risk-on environment again. So somebody comes and says that they're going to inject liquidity into the market. So like Bank of Japan talked about possibly shifting the monetary policy or doing, they didn't say they would do FX intervention, but they are, they are not, they're known for that. Or if we see Bank of China putting more money into the markets, all those things would actually push the equity markets up. And these things can turn around quite suddenly. So make sure you keep an eye on all of these. All right, so coming up here on Wednesday, we do have, so fairly quiet in regards to our London session, but in the US session, we have new home sales and crude oil inventories. So oil has been taking a hit as a result of the coronavirus issue because Chinese economy is being negatively impacted, and as a result, oil is not doing well because China is a big user of oil. And if we see that inventories here build up, that would be bad for oil as well. So overall, keep an eye on oil. If oil goes down, then it will negatively impact Canadian dollar as well. Other than that, we just have business confidence numbers here for New Zealand here. So we saw the consumer confidence numbers were below expectations for US dollar, and US dollar dropped as a result. So same thing here, if they come in below the previous numbers were, then we could see New Zealand dollar drop. And if the capital expenditure doesn't go up, so it looks like the expectation is for it to go up, but if these numbers are not met, same thing for Australian dollar, we're likely to see a drop in Australian dollar. All right, so let's go on to our charts. So one thing to actually keep in mind here is different central banks will talk about injecting money into the market. So Fed, if they say that they're going to cut monetary policy because they're concerned about the impact that coronavirus will have on the global economy or in the US economy, then US dollar will drop as a result of that. So anytime central bankers cut interest rates, that is bad for the currency, but good for the equity market. So just something to be aware of. All right, so we'll start off with euro dollar here. So we have seen euro dollar go up. However, we are right into this resistance level. So if we were to take a look back here, this is an important support resistance level here. Price has reacted to this level and turned around from this level. So overall, a very important level. So that's why we have to keep an eye on this. So if price holds below this level at 1.0885-ish, then I will look for a further drop back towards 1.0780. On the flip side though, once it goes through, then it has passed the major hurdle here. We could get into 1.0930 or even all the way into 1.10 here. So the important level will be 1.0885. So right now bias is bullish, but with caution, because if it holds below, then I will look for price to come back down further. Pound dollar here, we had a positive day. So British pound, so we saw euro sell off, and when the euro sells off, there is buying that goes on in the British pound. So we see euro pound drop, and then they will hold one of them. So in this case, pound was going up, and with this one as well, price is into resistance. So we need to be careful with this one. Bias is bullish here as well, but it is into resistance. So if price holds below 1.3020, I will look for a drop lower here. So bias is bullish, but with caution. Next target is 1.3075. And above that, we're looking at 1.3120. So bullish bias here for pound dollar. Aussie dollar here, this one has been going sideways at the moment. The candle close for today is neutral. So if price holds below this 0.6620, chances are it's going to drop, because overall here bias is still to the downside. So bias here is neutral today, but as long as it holds below 0.6620, I will look for a drop. Next target is 0.6520 for Aussie dollar. And then New Zealand dollar here. New Zealand dollar has also been trading in a range. We see that price went into this resistance, and now it's bounced off of this. So now I'm looking for price to drop. Bias is to the downside. 0.6300 is the first target. So this is the range it's been trading in. So I'm looking for retest of the bottom of the range. And should it go through, we are into 0.6270. So bias is bearish here for New Zealand dollar. Now, on that note, though, if we start hearing from Fed and there's talk about cutting interest rates, the US dollar could drop, which means all the dollar crosses could go up. This is why it's very important to keep an eye out on what the members are saying, the central bankers are saying. All right, so dollar CAD here, this one has been interesting. We've seen price go back and forth. Now it is into support here, and we could see price go sideways here. So my bias here is neutral, because it's not showing a strong trend in either direction. So what I would keep an eye out for would be this support resistance area at 1.3270. So when price was above that, it held, and then once it went through it, it held below it, and now let's see if it will hold above it. If it doesn't break down through 1.3270, chances are it will go and do a retest of the high. So keep that in mind. So neutral bias here for dollar CAD, but on the flip side though, as soon as we see a break through this support, then this one could go all the way into 1.3200. So for now, bias is neutral, and the level that we need to watch is 1.3270. So that's what we have. Neutral bias for dollar CAD. Pound Aussie, this one's also looking bullish. Next target is 1.9750. And then we are into some levels that we haven't seen in a while. Okay, so the next target here would be 1.9820. So first one is 1.9750, then 1.9820. So bias is bullish for pound Aussie. All right, let's go to our commodities. We saw a big drop in silver here. And so again, I would keep an eye on what's going on in regards to the coronavirus, because should there be more concerns that surface, we could see the safe haven assets go back up, which includes our silver here. So right now, bias is bearish based on technicals alone, but again, sentiment can change the market direction, so it's important to keep an eye on the market sentiment. So right now bias is bearish, but if it shifts, this one can go up, because as we can see here, price is into support level. So if it holds above 17.85, this one could go up even further. So for now, bias is bearish. Next target here to the downside would be 17.58. But like I said, if it does not break below 17.85, if it holds above, and then we could see a further move higher. So just something to be aware of here. So my bias is bearish, again, with caution here. Gold here, gold dropped quite a bit as well, but as we can see, prices into support here at 16.25. Now, if it holds above this level and doesn't go through, we could see a further move to the upside. So we do need to watch out here. Right now, though, bias is bearish. So if it holds below 16.50, we could see a further drop here. So again, this one will change based on the sentiment in the market. So again, more issues with coronavirus, this will go higher. And if the market thinks everything is fine, then this is likely to drop. So all right, oil here as well. This one has been a bearish as well. This is highly tied into the coronavirus issue because China is a big importer of oil. So we have a bearish, we were looking for a drop. We do have, we got that drop. Next target is 49.50. And this is an important level. So we haven't seen price at this. So last time it was here, it turned around. So now we'll have to see if it can manage to drop below this, because we haven't seen this price since December of 2018. So bearish bias here, again, with caution, because if it drops through this level, we could see a move all the way to the downside. And that's why we have to be careful with this one. So bias is bearish. Next target is 48. And then below that, we're looking at 47. So bearish bias here for oil. But like I said, this is into the bottom of that, into that little range that it's been trading in. So we could see price flip. Just be mindful of that. So bias for now is bearish for oil. All right, let's move on to our equities. Oh, watch out. I forgot copper. Copper is also looking bearish, but it's held this level for quite some time again. So if we don't see a drop, this one could turn around as well and go higher. So again, this level is very important. But once we see a break through this level, we could see 2.48 and then potentially even lower. So it is struggling with that level, but it's been doing that for a few days, and as soon as it breaks, I will look for a further drop like this, 2.48, then 2.46. So bias is bearish for copper. Bitcoin here is still dropping. We were looking for a drop yesterday. We got that. Next target here is 9050. And if it continues, then we are looking at 8820-ish level. So bias here is bearish for Bitcoin as well. S&P 500, a big drop today. And again, all due to the coronavirus issue. Now, there was a pullback first because it looked like markets were going to ignore it and turn around, but that didn't last very long, and we did see a huge drop here. So bias is bearish, but do keep in mind prices into the support resistance level, and we haven't seen such a big drop in quite some time. This was the last time market dropped like that, and when it did, let's take a look, it went back up and it just continued on. So this is it went into the support level here and then just moved on further. So same thing here, price is into support, and if it doesn't break through, it can turn around. So equity markets are volatile right now, and so are safe havens. So just be careful with that. But bias is bearish here. Next target is 3080. Nasdaq here, same thing, a big drop. So same concern, prices into support, and like we saw this drop here, it tried to go below and then just flipped and continued on way higher. So that's the same thing here. I would look for a drop, but because it's into support, it can just flip here as well. But otherwise, this is the move I'm looking for. So bearish bias here for Nasdaq as well. And then Dow Jones, same thing, a huge drop here. Next target is, well, it's already at 27,000. Next target here is 26,680. And I would just look for a pullback and then a drop here. But again, there is this support resistance level right here. If it doesn't drop below 27,000, this one could also flip. But for now, biases to the downside. DAX, same thing, big drop here. Market was pushing up prior to that, but with the virus, we have seen things turn around. At this point, bias is bearish. I would look for a potential pullback into 12,750, and then first target is 12,500, and then below that we have 12,380. So bearish bias for DAX here. FTSE, a huge drop in FTSE here, as we can see. This is similar to this drop here, huge. So bias is bearish. Looks like the equity markets are spooked a bit, but they can also turn on a dime. So this is the thing to watch out for. So as we can see here, prices into this support level here, and if it doesn't go through, things can turn around. But for now, bias is bearish. In terms of a pullback level, I would look at 7,000. And then as long as it holds below the 7,000 level, I would look for a further drop. Now, just to keep in mind, when we see big drops in equity markets, all the central bankers get concerned, and the countries get concerned. So we have seen Bank of China trying to support the market. We have seen Fed trying to support the market. So different banks, central banks, start injecting liquidity or money into the market, and that can cause stock market to go back up. And so just be careful with this one, because a lot of times we will not see that. We will not know this, they just start buying stuff. So Fed has been doing a lot of purchasing. Just be aware of that. If it starts to turn around suddenly, that's likely why, or some sort of positive sentiment here. So it will all be sentiment driven. All right, so this is Nikkei. Nikkei dropped as well. Now we have seen this pullback now. Bias is bearish. So as long as it stays below 22,400, I will look for a further drop here. First target is 21,800, and then, sorry, 21,880, and then second one is 21,650. But like I said, keep an eye on things turning around. All right, so that's it for today. Have a wonderful trading day, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.